How long does SEO really take? It's probably the number one question we always get before investing in SEO.
The answer customers usually get is it depends.
And they hate it.
But what if we could actually replace the guesswork with real data?
And that's exactly what we did. We analysed 233 real SEO campaigns and tracked how long it actually took businesses to rank transactional keywords onto page 1 of Google. Today, drum roll please, we're revealing those results. So welcome back to the Marketing and AI podcast for local businesses, or the AI and Marketing podcast for local businesses, whichever way around. The show that gives you practical, proven marketing advice to help you grow your business right here in the UK. My name's Adam. I'm a best-selling Amazon published author, AI enthusiast and AI presenter, and founder of www.websitedesigners.london. We've helped businesses generate tens of millions online through smarter design and marketing.
My name's Josh. I'm the founder of ImproveMySearchRanking.com, a SEO and AI search agency based in London and 3-time winner of the UK Search Awards. Over the past 10 years, we've worked with more than 1,000 businesses, helping them generate well over £200 million in sales. And today, we're talking about one of the biggest myths in SEO. How long does it actually take to rank on page 1 of Google?
Well, we actually did the study, and I'll tell you why. So I guess, Josh, imagine every client asks you the same bloody question. I say bloody, acting as if I'm frustrated. I would ask the question, right? I completely get it. You're investing. You're like, okay, how long is a piece of string? How long I'm going to have to invest in order to get a result? It's a fair question. I say bloody because we just get it so many times, right? And it's just so repetitive and you just got to answer it. So when will we get to page 1? How long will it take?
Exactly. Yeah, we get that question without fail every single time we get a new customer or a new prospective customer. And as you say, it's completely understandable and it's a good question to ask. The problem lies in the fact that most agencies will probably say, just it depends, or it might take somewhere between 3 and 12 months or 2 years. So those answers aren't particularly useful at all because a customer has no idea when they're going to start seeing a return on their investment. So instead of giving that random guess of between 3 and 12 months, what we did is look at the data of 233 campaigns across several industries, mainly local service-based businesses, and measured how long it took to get those websites to reach different ranking milestones for transactional keywords. So this isn't informational keywords, not blog posts, but at the actual keywords that drive inquiries and sales.
And let's get into that a bit more if Josh, what's an example? Let's think about examples of transactional keywords we're talking about there.
So if you were a garden landscaping business, that might be a keyword such as garden designer in location X. If you're a builder, it might be loft conversion company in location Y. Or if you're a carpet cleaner, it might be carpet cleaning services in location X. So it's people at the end of the buying cycle who are actively searching for a solution to a problem rather than searching for how to remove a wine stain from my carpet.
Fantastic. So these are the keywords that people these are the sought after keywords, right? So those are the keywords that generate the sales, generate the inquiries, and that's what business owners want. We don't want to. It's of course nice to get the traffic from those other keywords, but ultimately that's kind of top dollar keywords, as I'm going to call them. So what did we find? What are the results? Well, they actually surprised us a lot. The median time, which I believe is another word for the average, or is it the middle time?
The median, I believe, is the most common number of, say you had a list of 233 clients and the most frequent time it took for those people to get to page 1.
Okay. I did maths A level, believe it or not. And but anyway, the median time to achieve your first transactional keyword on page 1, and I want our audience to think how long before we just give that answer. How long do you think it took to rank on page 1 for a high value transactional keyword? Drum roll, please. We should put a sound effect in there. Only took 1 month. 1 month. And I know typically we talk about 3 months, 90 days, and majority of our customers see, but 1 month. That's insane. Much faster than most people would expect. In fact. So wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely a lot quicker than most people would expect. SEO is always sold as a long-term marketing service, and it is, but you should expect to see some results almost instantaneously from your SEO campaign if you're doing the right things and making the right changes on your website. But of course, it's important to remember this is just one high value, high intent transactional keyword getting to page one of Google. So you're not going to see life changing business change, inquiries flooding in, phone calls coming in every minute. The momentum that SEO builds over time is what's going to really help transform your business into a business that generates more inquiries. So to reach 10 keywords or 10 to 19 transactional keywords on page one, the median was just 2 months. So month one, you'll get your first keyword on page one. By the end of month two, you should have somewhere between 10 and 19 transactional high intent keywords on page one of Google. To reach 20 or more, it took 4 months. So not a huge amount of time. So SEO isn't really, as I've just kind of alluded to, isn't about one big breakthrough. It's a gradual compounding snowball. So you get one keyword on page one, then 10, then 20, then 50. And over time, the more keywords, the more transactional keywords you get to page one, the more traffic and inquiries you will get.
So that's, sorry, I was going to say just on that, that's very interesting. Now, where we think about ranking keywords, we've also got to remember there are nuances, right? And certain keywords will have larger volumes of traffic and will be of a higher intent and more competitive. So I guess one thing we've got to consider here is, and the approach here is, it should be, let's try and focus on low-hanging fruit first and kind of then go after those bigger, more higher competitive keywords later on. So it's interesting. Did we look at how competitive each of those keywords were, or are they traditionally more low-hanging fruit, low competition keywords?
Most of these campaign keywords, so all the keywords that were tracked were agreed upon with the customer. They said, we want to pursue these keywords. A lot of them, because they were local service businesses, probably 80% of those 233, the keywords aren't hugely competitive. It's service in location X, and it's not massively competitive. So that is something worth considering as well. This is probably skewed a lot towards local service business SEO rather than national or international e-commerce type keywords.
Fantastic. That's very, very key. Over to you.
Yeah. So another question people often ask us is, why do some keywords, or why do some websites and some businesses rank in weeks rather than months?
And I guess we've touched on one of them already, right? Competition. So if you're in a very competitive field, like Josh just mentioned, you've got a large e-commerce platform kind of competing nationally as opposed to something very much more legally, regionally, locally. I've been dealing with lawyers today, hence the word legally coming out. So competition is one of them. If you're in a high competitive area, location, as well as sector, then you're going to face a longer time to rank higher. The quality of the existing site. So if your site was built in 1985 and not been updated since, you might find it more difficult because it's not going to have all the kind of key things Google and other search engines and AI platforms want to see for best practice and make it user friendly and etc. Backlinks. So how many people online are talking about your website? How many websites are linking to yours? What does the quality of the backlinks look like that you're currently getting? Because that's important. That's one of the kind of main metrics of, reputation and authoritativeness. You need other websites linking to yours. And lastly, the tenure of your business, but specifically the tenure of your website. So how established is your business on the internet? That's another thing to think about. Are you on lots of directories? Are you talked about online? But the biggest ones, whether you're targeting achievable keywords. So for example, if you target, I don't know, let's say you're a baker, you're really based in a small village in, I don't know, North London, but I don't think there's villages in North London. It's a small area in North London, and then you go and target baking England or baking UK, you're going to struggle, right? Whereas if you're targeting, I don't know, Ilford, that's East London, Ilford baking, vegan baking, it's this very small, specific, more niche keyword and niche location, more specific location, it's going to be easier. So targeting achievable keywords as opposed to try and rank for the ego keywords, oh, look, if you type in baking UK, I'm number one. Yeah, well, it's unless you've got a huge budget, it's not going to be really effective and a good use of your money. So sometimes it's smarter to dominate 20 30 easier, lower hanging fruit commercial keywords as opposed to going for those big kind of nationwide keywords, especially from a location perspective. Anything you'd add to that, Josh?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. So you've got to target those easier commercial keywords. So if you targeted the phrase Baker UK, it's probably not that transactional in terms of the phrase there. But if you went after pastry shop in North London, that's a much more transactional keyword.
Absolutely. And one thing businesses get wrong, and what I've noticed, is people expect SEO to behave a bit like traditional advertising. But yeah, go on, Josh. I'll let you expand on that.
Yeah, so a lot of people believe that SEO might work a bit like other forms of advertising. With Google Ads, for example, you turn the ad campaign on, almost instantaneously you get traffic, you switch it off, the traffic disappears. SEO is completely different. You need to think of it in a completely different light. So although we've seen keywords get to page 1 within 1 month, and it took 4 months to get 20 or so, you need to think of SEO as a long-term marketing strategy. You need to think of it as if you're planting an orchard, you could think. So you don't plant a tree this morning and expect apples tomorrow. You know that's going to take years of time for that to come into play.
I've got a magic apple tree, Josh. So
is that next? Is that next to the money tree?
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. Look, it's a very valid point, and ultimately we've all got to be aware of it. Everybody wants results tomorrow, but the kind of athletes that perform at the Olympics don't kind of wake up one day and think, oh, I want to be an athlete and compete at the Olympics. It takes some days and days and weeks and weeks and years and years and years of hard work and dedication. We're not asking for that from our customers. We just said one month, right? The median you rank a keyword, a transactional keyword is a month. So it will take time though to build up and get more traffic. So that's something to bear in mind.
Absolutely. And after time, SEO then becomes the cheapest source of your leads in the long term. So it's certainly worth starting investing in SEO today. So take a month or so to get your first keywords going. But one thing I noticed in the data was that people who quit after say 2 months, 3 months, they obviously never then reached the higher ranking positions and didn't generate as many inquiries and sales traffic. And that's going to be the subject of the next study we're going to do, is look at how many inquiries does SEO generate a local service business.
Spot on. Looking forward to that. So let's talk about AI.
Yes. So
have we talked about transactional? Why transactional keywords matter? By the way,
we have not. We have not spoken about that.
Let's do that first.
Yeah. So transactional keywords are keywords that pay the bills, essentially. So they bring in the leads to your business. So if you're, as we mentioned and alluded to earlier, if you're a carpet cleaning business and you ranked for the keyword how to remove a wine stain from my carpet, that's not going to help you generate more sales. That's just going to help tell somebody how to do a service that you want to provide.
Exactly.
So we need to be pursuing something very specific, transactional phrases, as we spoke about earlier. For example, boiler installation, London, gas engineer, Croydon, emergency plumber in location XYZ. With these, someone's at the end of the buying cycle, they're ready to buy, they're looking for a solution to their problem. So it's much, much, much more important to be tracking and working on transactional keywords rather than hundreds and hundreds of informational keywords that are never going to lead to a conversion.
Absolutely. I know which one I'd rather have. So let's talk about AI now. You're obviously very keen to get to AI as enthusiast, as I call myself. So why... And the reason why the study is very relevant now is because of search, right? So GEO, generative engine optimization, or AI search, as some people call it. We're seeing more informational searches answered directly in the likes of the Google AI overview, ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, go on, name your favorite LLM. So that makes commercial intent even more valuable. Businesses ultimately, traffic, I think we've said this many times, traffic is vanity, right? Now, it's all about visibility where people are ready to buy. And that increases the focus on those transactional keywords, the transactional intent, and building authority to ensure that those LLMs like Google AI and ChatGPT show you as the person or the company to go to for those particular services.
Yeah, so with AI search, I think we spoke about in the last episode that the number of zero-click searches has dramatically increased because Google is now the platform where it's answering all the questions for the customer. But that's the case for informational search queries. And again, It's not for transactional search queries. Google can't, as it stands, and ChatGPT can't, as it stands, book in that plumber for you and they'll turn up at your door tomorrow. You still need to make that decision. And as it stands, again, why transactional keywords are worth pursuing most.
Yeah. And just for our listeners who are maybe kind of rookies and haven't listened to our previous episodes, zero-click searches, that's the kind of whole premise whereby, because of the birth of AI, especially Google AI overviews, someone types in a search query and they get the answer immediately as opposed to 10 blue links. It's just in the AI overview. They get the answer. They don't need to click on any website. And so you don't see that traffic coming onto your website when you look at your Google Analytics, because they've already got the answer. There's no need to go and visit that website, because the Google AI overview just takes the information from your website and shows it to the user as they've entered the kind of the question into Google or ChatGPT. So just wanted to break that down. So 3 ways businesses can rank faster. Go on, Josh. Number one.
So simply put, choose realistic keywords, choose those realistic transactional keywords. Winning 20 achievable phrases beats chasing one impossible one. Again, easy way to think about this is, what is your service and what locations do you target? And then target all of those different keywords.
Absolutely. Number 2 is, when you create your pages, actually think about the value you are adding. Create genuinely useful pages that if a user were to visit, they'd get new information. You're providing valuable information as opposed to just writing text for the sake of writing text to be able to rank for search engines. People that make people stop searching and navigating away from their website, it's because they found everything they need. So ask yourself the question, when I create this page, is my user going to get everything they need from this page?
And finally, number 3 is simply to stay consistent. So SEO compounds over time. Too many businesses stop after 3 months, right before that momentum starts.
So my biggest takeaway from here is SEO isn't instant, but it's not as slow as many people think. 1 to 3 months, right? Basically.
Exactly. So if you're doing the right things consistently, you can start seeing meaningful page 1 rankings much earlier than most people expect. And once those rankings build, they tend to generate inquiries month after month.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, we really appreciate if you subscribe, follow, wherever you listen to podcasts, give us a 5-star rating, comments. But when someone asks you, how long does SEO take? Just send them this episode and we'll include a link to the full study in the show notes so you can see the kind of the data, graphs and methodology behind the findings, and let us know what you think in the comments of this episode as well. Thank you for listening.